Welcome to the Bearcat Beat on LSPN, where each week we share conversations about everything that makes Sherman ISD athletics so great. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Sherman Bearcat Athletics represent the heart and soul of our community, where champions are made both on the field and in the classroom. Our student athletes embody the Bearcat spirit through dedication, perseverance, and excellence, creating memories and building character that will last a lifetime. Remember, it's better to be a Bearcat. This is just one of the many amazing things that the Booster Club accomplishes throughout the year for all sports. If you're interested in joining the Sherman Athletic Booster Club, or if you want to purchase some merchandise to show your Sherman Bearcat love, you can visit the website at shermanisd.net under the Athletics tab. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bearcat Beat. I'm Chris Daly. I am joined once again by Coach Phillip Manning, the boys basketball coach. Hey, Coach, how are things?
Good, Chris. How you doing? It's good to see you again.
Oh, you too, you too, you too. And it's kind of bittersweet. The season's over,
Mhm.
which is always sad. But we saw some positive things this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it didn't go exactly how we set out, how we planned it, but there was some positives. We saw some real growth from guys that are going to be back for us next year. We
Yeah.
saw some growth at the freshman and JV level, and so yeah, I think there is some definite positives to take away. I mean, obviously, we're going to miss our seniors, like
Yeah.
those guys. 2 years with me here and worked their tails off and bought into the culture and left it, although not wins and losses wise, but left the culture and left the program better than they found it. And so I'm very appreciative of them. But obviously, some things to look forward to in Sherman Bearcat basketball.
I love that. And let's start with the seniors. You give them kind of a going away, hurrah. Talk about some of the seniors and the impact they had.
Well, Jordan Williams, he was one of our seniors and he played on JV last year, but he didn't make the team his freshman in his JV year and he really worked in the gym and got in here and made the JV last year as a junior, my first year here. And then literally, I mean, he did not miss a day in the summer, did not miss a day in the fall, and earned himself a varsity jersey. And really, I know that his role wasn't as large and he had a hard role. He was coming off the bench for most of the
Hmm.
year, most of the season, and some games he didn't get in. And but I think it's a testament to it doesn't matter if you don't make it as a freshman or as a sophomore. If you keep working, it's important to you and you prioritize it. You can be a 5A varsity basketball player, and so I'm really appreciative of him and what he brought to the program that was unseen if you just came to games. But his ability to compete in practice and make everybody better. I'm really thankful to him. We have like Owen Davern, who moved here. His first year here was my first year here, and so we kind of got to know Sherman a little bit together and what he brought to the gym in terms of like his ability to shoot. We have some shooting drills we call magnet shooting, and he owns the record for all no, 18 out of 20 of them.
Wow.
And so he was able to really affect some games and opened up some driving lanes for Bryson Taylor and TJ Johnson and those guys this year. See Tyler Wright, who is, I mean, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm so proud of his growth as
Hmm.
as a basketball player, as a teammate, as a leader. We talked. He's a highly emotional guy, and we talked last year, this time coming into this year about you know focusing those emotions in a positive way. And, he did that and then some. He showed, I mean, he was even elected captain by his teammates earlier this year. And my goodness, just the growth that he's had as a person and as a leader. I can't really praise him enough and what he's been able to do. And then Julian Delgado, who is just he handled the ball a lot for us this year. In district, he had a positive assist to turnover ratio, which is huge. A guy that lived in the gym and did whatever we asked him to do. He was solid for us. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss the work ethic that
Hmm.
he the example that he set for those guys that are coming up behind him. And then of course Jeremiah Babcock, who is, I mean, he averaged just underneath a double double for us this year.
Wow.
I mean, a real contributor to why we were in games, why we won games. Uh, just what he did for us, scoring wise, rebounding wise, the way he protected the middle and averaged, almost a block and a half a game. I mean, I can't say enough about Jeremiah. And, obviously he's not a very loud guy if you know him, but just his ability to impact the game and impact our program is huge. And of course, I'm going to miss all those guys, and that's the tough part about this job, right?
Yeah.
Is that that high school goes quick, and you tell them that, but yeah, it's funny when you see that click for those seniors, and they'll tell you maybe the last week or two, like, man, coach, you weren't lying. It does go by
Yep.
really
Yep.
fast. And I'm like, yeah, yes, it does. So you can't waste a moment. Can't waste a single rep when you're in here. So obviously, so grateful for those guys and what they brought and the foundation they've helped us set here.
Definitely. And let's talk about I know it's early to talk about next season, but
Mhm.
some of the guys that you think are going to step up and play some important roles for next year.
Well, James Villanueva, he moved in, and we've mentioned him on this podcast before. We're excited about him, and he'll be a senior. He got a year of varsity experience under his belt here, and he was on the varsity at Burleson last year before he moved here. We're excited about the spring and the summer and the fall that he can put together. He's an aggressive scorer. We got to get him a little bit stronger. But man, we're excited about what he brings. Malik Chapman, who played averaged about 8 or 9 minutes a game this year as a sophomore. We're excited about his growth and his development, and both of those guys that I just described are big, like huge, like workers and gym rats, and I
Hmm.
know they're gonna put their game in a good position. We have Armani Douglas, who made strides for us this year and really helped us out towards that last end of district, towards the end of district, the second cycle through, and the growth that he can bring. Zylan McKinley, Kingston Spearman. We're returning those guys. We're excited about them. All those guys got 1 year varsity experience under their belt, and that's so important, just in terms of getting adjusted to the speed. But we just have to work on our weaknesses.
Yeah.
That's the part that we're identifying. We just wrapped up our postseason meetings, and we set out a plan. Dreams are just dreams unless you set some realistic and meetable goals. So we're setting those, and we're gonna get to work next week. Kind of hit that reset button and get back to work on those weaknesses and get those guys' games in a better place next year to
Nice.
build
And
on this year.
you talk about the postseason meetings.
Mm.
A lot of coaches have different I guess systems they put in place, whether it's exit strategies with senior or not strategies, exit interviews with seniors. What is your off-season strategy in the postseason? What does that look like for you?
So for us, I mean, the spring and summer is just a time to get better, to add to your own skill level. So that's the way that we look at it. We'll do
Hmm.
some schematic stuff, and obviously this year we had the luxury of going into year three, and they know what we want to do defensively, and they know what we want to do offensively. So we really need to just work on our individual weaknesses. So that's what we talk about, is just getting stronger with our weak hand and ball handling.
Hmm.
Getting our shot a little bit faster and more consistent. All the things that we can work on to better ourselves as players to make that scheme work out better. And so that was basically what we talked about in our meetings. Is we identified three areas that we want to see them grow in really before the end of the spring. And
Hmm.
so I think what we strive to do is like be overly communicative to our players. And so
Right.
where they stand and what they need to grow, where they need to grow and what they need to work on. So we actually have meetings postseason. We'll have a meeting before the summer. We'll have a meeting at the end of the summer. We'll have a meeting going into the season. So that way, we tell them where we see them at, and it's fluid and it changes every day, and that way they don't know there's no confusion on where they stand and where they can improve. And so, like I said, like this spring, we're really going to fine tune those skills, and those abilities to make reads and grow our IQ a little bit. And
Hmm.
that's what the spring is all about for us.
Excellent, excellent. And we're just coming off of a realignment. How has that affected you for next season, or will it?
Well, more of the same. We're losing Walnut Grove. I mean, we have everybody else, returning. We're losing Walnut Grove. They're going up to 6A, and then we are gaining Salina and Community, which are, two playoff teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to get harder. We're going to have 16 district games as opposed to 14. We're going to start district a lot sooner. So scheduling wise, it affects us because essentially it cancels a tournament for us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to, it's gonna make us. This year we started district on December 23rd. Next year we'll start district on December 8th. So you get 2 weeks of time to prepare
Hmm.
are gone for
Yeah.
district, but that's what you have dealt in front of you, and you can't do anything about it. It's gonna be tough again. We have Lovejoy and Melissa and Anna all returning, and those guys are representing us in the playoffs along with Walnut Grove right now as we speak. And so we have that two other playoff teams in front of us. McKinney North missed the playoffs and they went 8-6 in district. And then us, Denison and Greenville. So we know that it's not an easy road ahead of us, but what we can worry about right now is us. And so that's what we're
Hmm.
going to focus on is us, and we'll cross that district road when we get to it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And it's funny, you just said you're focusing on us, and I'm going to ask you about them. Uh, but again, you've got one more team in the district now, so that's a lower percentage chance of making one of those playoff spots.
Yeah.
Um, in football, because these coaches all report their returning starters, offense, defense. When do you get that sort of information about basketball?
Well, I mean, familiarity with the fact that, a lot of us know each other anyway, and we've seen
Yeah,
what each other have to offer. I think in this district, the coaching staffs are pretty close. We speak to each other quite a bit, so we have an idea of, what's coming up
right,
and what they got. Now we had the luxury of playing Salina in a non-district game, and it just so happens we play in the same fall league and spring league as them, so we have a pretty good idea of what Salina's got coming. Community, our middle schools are in the same district, so we're kind of familiar with who they've got coming. It's not as formal as football with Dave Campbell
right.
and the media coverage that football gets, and that's fine. But I know that the biggest question mark obviously is most of the teams that we compete with are in the Metroplex. So
Mhm.
although you have an idea of who's coming, you don't know who's moving. And
Right,
so, I
right,
mean, an example of that is Anna this year. They had their best player that moved in this year was at Prosper Rock Hill for the last 2 years. And he moved in maybe a week or two before school started.
hmm,
So, you have an idea, but it's ever changing. You don't know, you won't know until, the ball gets thrown up in November and we see who's on the floor for
right.
everybody in the league. We go from there.
And that's got to be just a wonderful present as as a coach.
Mhm.
A week before school starts, somebody moves in that's
Mhm.
somebody that caliber. You're like, yes,
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, but that's part of the job, and that's part of where
yeah,
we're at, and and we're pretty hopeful with Sherman and the way that this community is growing, and
right,
that we'll be a destination for some people that are looking for fresh starts. So
yeah,
that's what we're hoping for as well. So not gonna knock it because we want
sure.
people to come here and compete at Sherman. We want to be an attractive place for people that are
Yeah,
like I
and it
said, they're
seems
moving
Sherman athletics as a whole is getting much more attractive.
for sure.
Things are changing. You've got facilities, you've got a lot going on there in Sherman.
Oh, 100%. Like the growth in the community here, and like you said, the facilities that we're blessed with. I mean, they rival anything that you can see 30
Yeah,
miles down the road. So I know over time, we're just at the beginning of this thing, and with Coach McDougal, Coach Alleman, we're setting the foundation as far as the boys' side goes, and girls side as well with Coach Huntsman. Like, I mean, we're really trying to build something here, and we're at the we're literally at the foundational level, but we're getting there. Every day you got to win. All we can do is win the day in front of us, and that's what we're working on doing right now.
I love it. Well, you have won the day in this interview. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and promoting some boys basketball.
Oh, of course, man. It's always good to talk Bearcat basketball. Thanks for having me this third time this year. So good to talk to you. And I know we'll probably see you again next fall. All
Oh, yeah.
right.
Take care, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
I want to thank you for listening to the Bearcat Beat. Each week throughout the school year, you will hear all sorts of great information about all the athletic programs at Sherman ISD. Please do us a favor, like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help us reach more Bearcat fans.
Hey Coach, Lone Star Gridiron has been the leader in Coach's Show podcasts for 20 years, and now you can get your own Coach's Show podcast each week during the season as a fundraiser for your booster club. Yes, booster clubs all over are using these podcasts to help their sports programs. You get to share the stories of your program and your kids to a huge audience and make money. We started with just football, but this year have expanded to make them available for all sports. Call 713-269-4620 to find out the details and get your Coach's Show started.